Hello and welcome to The Tech Boy, This Week in Tech podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to the This Week in the Tech Boy podcast. So lots has happened in the tech world this week. Apple released the iPads last week, and we got to get to the controversial advertising once again. I had a brand new idea for a mobile application, and Mr. Who's the Boss released his longest ever video about minimalist technology. And as you guys know, I probably despise minimalist technology, and so minutes in the video that we're going to react to that you guys are going to see how much I despise the technology. And also, S24 Ultra could be coming soon. Hopefully I will get to test it in the coming weeks and have a full review out for you in online and on YouTube. But let us get to the Google I/O and ChatGPT 4.0. How could I have forgotten? And we already have our first comment. Hello, Thor Pearson 11. ChatGPT and Google Gemini also got big upgrades this week. And do you know what that means, guys? The end of the world is nigh. Just kidding. It's not. ChatGPT and Google Gemini, of course, not the Antichrist or any of those weird thingies there. And it's also very useful for education. I haven't got my hands on it yet. I've been able to chat to GPT 4.0, but I haven't been able to process live video feeds with it, as I do not pay the $20 a month subscription. I was able to chat with image, and it was able to correctly identify a famous person from an image with some text with his name in it. And hello, Kate. Welcome to the show. So Google I/O, I guess we can start with that. So let's start with Google I/O summary. Fun fact, I actually got to go hands-on with the Google Pixel phones just for a little bit and the Google Pixel tablet on Thursday at my local Best Buy location. So there's 100 things that Google announced at Google I/O. And I also want to show you this tool from Google. It's called Google I really wish this was an offline AI tool, but it's not. But it's very useful. Google Notebook. Yes, there it is. notebooklm.google.something. Anyway, this tool allows you to upload documents, Google Documents, and just text-based documents. And you can just upload stuff. So like I said, the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and all the amendments that we have in there. And you can ask it questions, and then it will use only based off those documents, not based on web data, it will answer questions based on that. So say I uploaded the United States Constitution to Google Playground notebook.lm. It would ask me, and I can say, hey, what is the Second Amendment? It would tell me what the Second Amendment is and tell me what it's about. And as you can see, this would be a very vital tool for business. Let's say you are the secretary of your business, right? And you have all the meeting notes from 100 meetings, right? You can upload them into Google Notebook LM and ask questions about every meeting that you've taken notes on. As you can see here, you can upload your files or just copy and paste your text, and it will, search through here. Of course, this will probably be used by people to, cheat on stuff, but I can potentially see the greatness of this. In fact, I have uploaded some of my own internal documentation over on our new website, and to ask about to ask it details about it, and it has done a really good job in it. So that's one of the AI tools I wanted to show off to you. Actually, it's been around for a year, but I just found out about it this week. All right, now here we are to Google I/O. So they introduced Gemini 1.5 Flash. That is a fast Gemini model, and then they upgraded and updated the 1.5 Pro and Flash and added more token context to the Google AI Studio, which means that, oh yeah, I guess if you didn't hear, we launched it last week. I will put it down here. ALTW. Oh, sorry, wrong link. Let me take that down. Here is the official link. All right, anyway, so they've updated the Gemini models to include more tokens. Tokens would be that things that it can process. So if it can hold more tokens, you can ask it more things and it will remember more things in context. Think of it as RAM for AI, I guess. So it can hold more things in its memory. So 1.5 Pro is now available with 2 million token context window. So this is a comparison of what it can do. So GPT-4 Turbo. So this is probably what most people are using. 1,028 tokens compared to Gemini 1.5 to 1 million tokens, which according to Google is 1.4 million words, 60,000 lines of code, or 2 hours of video processing, right? For instance, 2 hours of video processing would be about the length of this podcast episode. Okay, and then they've added some more AI stuff and some generative media and labs experiments. We still have to check to see if they turned on people generation technology, if they brought it back to Gemini. As you guys know, back in February, they had the controversy of racism within the chatbots or something like that. And now they have video generation models. Yet, of course, to the people who say, "Oh no, video generation is so scary," right? The thing is that most video isn't shot at 4K, 60 frames per second, cinematic, everything like this. So it's probably just going to be used more towards the higher end of things, and it's going to be really hard to get to the low end of things for like real cell phone video, right? So if I were to say import clips of people. Nice. Let's say I was to import clips of like people I have on my phone and took them into an AI video editor and say, hey, make this into like some type of fight, even if that's possible, which would take a lot of work. And they all like started fighting each other. First of all, the clips would be way too high quality that if I tried to turn them into any authorities, not one person would believe it. Because if you've ever seen a high school fight scene, like in a locker room or something, it's not taken with the best quality camera. It's taking like some random kid's iPhone in portrait mode. And second of all, it's going to be easily falsifiable because it's not just taken by one kid; it's taken by like 50 kids, right? It's like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC are all in there taking pictures and videos of a literal fight. Like it's basically its own little press conference thing, and they have flash, and you have to get all the reflections right, and the people are moving, and the camera is janky and everything like that. That's how you know it's authentic, right? You can't come in here with super stabilized 60 frame per second video, and even you said, hey, maybe it's from like a security camera. It happened like in what are they called, hallways or something. That still doesn't make sense because security cameras are not, 4K, 60 frames per second, zooming in on people's faces and stuff like that. It's like a high school, not a, high-tech prison. Anyway, so that's video generation. That's my stance on that. And then Music AI Sandbox. That's interesting. I've used my own free AI music generators. I tried to had Copilot song generator, like write a song based on the national anthem of the United States of America for computers, and then I placed it into a song generator. It did not sound well. The music was awful, and the voices were trash. So hopefully Google's is better. Video FX lets you turn an idea into a video clip. That's interesting. Hopefully they can videotaping point fights and posting them. So glad I graduated when I did. Um, yeah, I mean, I would potentially like videotape fights and then like turn them into the authorities. Had I known about any fights that went on at my school. That's what I would do. But that's just another example. Of course, you can think of your own other examples. Kids being placed into situations that they shouldn't be placed into or shouldn't be into that can make them look bad. Say like boyfriend or girlfriend and some other random kid who doesn't like this couple tries to break them up by having one of them like cheat on them by hugging another person in an image or something like that. I mean, sure, I guess it's technically feasible, but it would take a lot of work, and B, the image quality would probably be a bit too good. Though I guess you could argue, hey, I got an iPhone 15 Pro, S24 Ultra, and look, my camera quality is good. And yes, the camera qualities of those phones are good. It's just not going to have the perfect bokeh that the phones have. And speaking of Samsung and AI, my Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus finally got the One UI 6.1 update, and with it, the generative AI features on the device, and I am excited. These features are genuinely good. So we'll get into that after we get through this Google I/O article. So this is going to be an AI-filled episode, I can already tell. Let's see. Upload to Google Drive, Gemini, and Google Messages. That might be interesting. I switched back to Samsung Messages. I couldn't stand Google Messages, and I really wish that Google would bring RCS to a wide variety of messaging applications, because one of the major standpoints of Android devices, one of the benefits is that you can change your messaging applications. I mean, technically on Apple you could change it, but you can't change the default, right? So iMessage is the only app that you can use to send SMSs on an iPhone. And with Google Messages, it's now the only app you can use to send RCSs. Well, technically, Beepu, just regular Beepu, can send RCSs messages, because you can sign in with your Google account and will sync with Google Messages. So I'm hoping that maybe Google will open up the API to other messaging applications and let you send RCS messages. Though I would be nervous about having all my phone messages in the cloud and stuff, seeing as there have been multiple hacks over the years. Notably, I think in 2005, there's this phone called the T-Mobile Sidekick, and some celebrity that got hacked through the phone. And this is way back in 2005, and it was a smartphone, but everything was up in the danger high top. That's the other name of the phone. It's actually a pretty good, interesting phone. It still, in my opinion, to this day, has a keyboard, had internet messaging. It's basically like a BlackBerry for teenagers. I can actually pull it up from here. Anyway, this celebrity's phone and pictures got hacked through the cloud, and everything was here. Shifty ICD says, I remember the sidekicks. So here's the image here. So this is what a T-Mobile Sidekick looks like, basically. Anyway, so the celebrity's phone got hacked through the cloud, and everything got leaked because everything was backed up into the cloud. And then back in 2014, like a whole bunch of celebrities got their photos hacked, and maybe even their messages. I'm not sure. I think it was just photos though, and leaked due to an iCloud vulnerability. I'm not anti-cloud storage. I'm all for it. Like my school uses, of course, cloud accounts and stuff uploaded to the cloud, but I just wouldn't be comfortable with having it just with one Google login, because those can be easily phished. And you can also be signed in onto a computer, which is probably not as secure as a phone, because you have all these ports on here and all the other connectivity options, right? And of course, if your messages get hacked, then there goes your 2FA and stuff like that. And I know stuff like SIM swapping exists, but that actually means you have to do like actual hacking that you can get prosecuted for, like walking past someone's computer and unlocking the password, and or like walking past someone's computer and just like going to Google.messages and checking, reading that you could probably get away with that. Not condoning it, but I'm saying you could probably get away with that. So yeah, but I wish there was more choice within the Google ecosystem for messaging applications. Like right now, there's Samsung Messages, which of course is only on Samsung, and then Google Messages is everywhere, and it's the only one that officially supports RCS. And then these other applications, but they all have ads in them, including simple mobile applications, which I once promoted because their dialer application allows you to pin it and still make a call. So that's useful for, let's say you want to give your phone to someone so that they can make a call, but you don't want them, searching through your phone. Samsung has this feature called Pin Apps on the screen, and it locks you to that one specific app, kind of like a kiosk. Now, I tried to on the regular dialer Samsung app that comes built into the phone, and that didn't work. You could dial the number, but then the call wouldn't go through. But on Simple Mobile Dialer, it's from this company called Simple Mobile Applications. It would let you go through, and it still does let you go through. But now it has ads, which getting ads in the middle of your dialing application, that's just like wrong, especially if they're full screen ads. If they're like bottom ads and you just don't really have to see them, anything. But if they're full screen ads and you have to click X and stuff like that, especially if my phone, which is like 15% of the screen is broken, that could be like a security vulnerability, like trying to call 911 and you gotta wait, I gotta get rid of this TikTok ad or whatever. So yeah, that's annoying. Yeah. So Shifty Eye Shady, what do you remember about the T-Mobile sidekicks? And as Shifty Eye Shady regales his time of the T-Mobile sidekicks, we're now going to talk about the Galaxy AI features that are present in this device and this not face-based, that's from functionality, face ranker application and photo manipulator application that I really like. All right, so my S22 Plus got all of the Google Galaxy AI features. So I switched back to Samsung Internet from Edge so I can get the summarizer, and it did a good job summarizing. It seems that for more established sources, like things like I had to summarize the Constitution on archive.gov or something, it seems that it knows what the Constitution already is. But on sites that aren't as established, like say my own personal website, it also can summarize stuff like that. And then for the photo editing stuff, it is a little bit restrictive. I tried to do like some face swapping, like moving something around, but that didn't really work. But I can like move stuff up and down across the images. So I have this image here. This is the original image that came out of like Microsoft Copilot, and now I have a this new image here with just some minor editing all inside the Galaxy app. So I was able to move the poll over and delete this stupid thing that was right there. So yeah, the editing is really good on here. Actually, I'll do a demonstration. Like even this image. Yeah, and of course you're able to remove the watermark that it puts on here. Even this image here, which is obviously AI generated, but you can't even tell that it was modified with generative edit. I actually just flipped it around and then moved this laptop with Russian part of the image into his hand. So that was pretty good. That's fun. I wanted to go to the mall sometime. Of course, that's come with some metadata that says made with generative edit, but that is okay. Now, of course, generative edit is unfortunately online, and I hope it can for more powerful phones, at least in the future, like say the S25 Ultra, especially since all these chips nowadays are going to be made using AI technology that not made using AI technology, but have AI technology localized built in, that these basic minor edits, like expanding generative fill, which I really like the fill aspect of this. And you can add in new images to stuff, which is good. You could have done that, previously using the sticker function on Samsung devices, but that is fine because it adds in extra info to it. It's really fun to edit images. I really like it a lot. I just don't like that it's connected to the web. For the notes feature, it's really good. It summarizes stuff, and it generates the covers really well, and it's all offline. And for the recording feature, this is a really useful feature for me. It transcribes the stuff all online. So that's going to be a really important speed test when I compare this phone to, say, the S24 Ultra on who can transcribe audio the fastest, natively built into the recorder. So I really like that going toe-to-toe with Google, which obviously I played with the transcribe function 2 days ago at Best Buy. And then the circle to search, which is not, I don't even know why it's an AI feature. It works well, but Google Assistant already had this thing called search the screen, and then you could just like kind of, so it's not even an AI feature. Unfortunately, that means Google Assistant got moved away from the home button to the sides of the screen, and you have to swipe in, but it's really easy. I switched back from Gemini to Google Assistant. It's really, really easy to summon the Google Assistant. And I heard that the 3-button gestures, like hyper gestures, where you would swipe up and it would go back, swipe up and go home and swipe up, which is obviously a lot better than the stupid iPhone and Pixel gestures that they make you use, got removed. But thankfully, on the One UI 6.1 update, but thankfully, Good Luck apparently has you covered. So I am thankful about that. Okay. So my favorite AI feature, maybe, I almost forgot. Chat assist and chat translate translation features. They look like they're working well. They're working fast. They download Spanish and Chinese. Download Spanish and Chinese. I'm not, of course, fluent in those languages. They look like they're working well. Interpreter mode, chat assist. Chat assist does not work in certain chatting applications. That, of course, like the secure ones that don't let you take Snapchat screenshots, like Snapchat. Unless, of course, you use Google Search to take your Snapchat screenshot, which was a headline we had this week. I think it was a Monday article. So if you guys want to screenshot chats and Snapchat, you go, circle the search. So all you have to do is circle the search, and then it'll pull up this thing here, and then you can screenshot that. So yeah. That's basically it. And can you even see? Oh, you didn't even see it on the screen. So yeah, so you just have to go in here, and it will pull up this kind of screen here. So you circle the search, boom, screenshot. So yep, that's a security vulnerability right there that I am thankful that exists. All right. And then of course chat, but unfortunately that means chat, translate, and stuff like that does not work in apps like that, but it does work in, you can still chat into English and it will translate into Spanish. It looks like good Spanish. It has all the like the vowels and the question marks are correct. So that seems like it's working well, and it does work on Samsung's default messaging application. I still need to test it. I don't know if it's accurate or anything like that. And of course, the phone, of course, I haven't tested that either, like the phone calling stuff. All right. What else? So my the chat writing style and spelling and grammar. I really like the spelling and grammar thing. It gets it like 95% of the time. Adds periods and commas and punctuation and all of that good stuff. Changes my words for me into like intelligible English. And then writing style makes you look fancy. Unfortunately, writing style seems to have some type of weird censor on it. So even though I'm not talking about what is what. I'm talking about the Galaxy AI features on that came to my device. ChatGPT, it's kind of based on it. So the feature right now I'm talking about, you can type something in. Let's say you're sending a text, and with writing style, you can change the style of writing. So let's say I have the sentence, "Do you like Samsung?" Right? So spelling and grammar will change it to something. It will add the punctuation. It will make all the words correct and spell it. And in writing style, it will fluff up your words, and you can have a professional thing that says, "May I inquire about your preference for Samsung products?" ? And then there'll be like social. It says, "Do you like Samsung?" ? Some emoticon, and then some hashtags. So I actually kind of like this feature because I obviously cannot speak in social media language. I usually speak in like actual language. So I like that it adds the hashtags and the things like that. So this is my number one most used Samsung feature because it's good for sending off stuff. I edited some blog posts in here. It can really handle like pages and pages, not pages, like maybe 2-3 pages of work, like the Snapchat stuff like that, and it's still like my work. So, of course, last year we ran an article saying that we used ChatGPT to edit some of the things on the post on our website. So this is basically having it at the tip of my fingertips, just makes this like more useful for typing than say my computer, which right now does not have that, but may have Copilot integration. But my computer's kind of slow, so I'm not hoping on that. Well, I mean, I am hoping on it. I'm just not hoping on using that. And then of course I guess my second favorite after that would be of course the image stuff, because you can do so much stuff with that. It's really good for detective and espionage, and might even get moved into the SSALTW blog spot. But I guess while we're on the topic of chatting right now, I guess I wanted to address something here that I see in society. So it seems that lots of people, at least teenagers in particular, use social media applications like Instagram. Snapchat's not really that much of a social media application. Unless you count those stupid videos that are on there that are like all out of date. Like they were all taped last year. Anyway, yeah, so they're using these other applications. They'll not necessarily have to be social media, but just non-texting applications. Telegram, Slack. This is just from my own phone. Telegram, Slack, WhatsApp, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You get what I mean. Google Meet. Like, it seems like people are afraid of texting or something like that, or like handing out their number, right? But the problem with that is all these applications rely on the web, and until people came along, you don't really have a unified messaging solution. It's not truly unified, it doesn't cover every messaging application, which is kind of weird. That I think that people are using like Facebook, which is a site that you use to post news articles and images to like chat with their friends, and Instagram, which is like, that doesn't really make sense that people are actually using that as their primary method of communication instead of using like phones, SMS, which nowadays, like maybe like back in 2011, when people actually charged 25 cents per text, that made sense. But now any decent phone plan has obviously free text, and you don't even need data to connect to that or Wi-Fi. So I was thinking about this application here, and I guess one of the reasons people have an aversion to this is, well, it's easy to find people on sites like Instagram. You can just type in their name, and if it's not common, or if you know who they are, and you can just get a QR code and stuff like that, right? It's easy to find people on there, and I guess maybe they're scared that they'll get like tracked or send spam texts to their phones or something like that. Which I don't know. So I was thinking about this site here that wouldn't be a social media website. It would just be a site you can upload 3 pictures a month. This is basically be so that people know it's you. Maybe you have to do some ID verification just so that they know it's you. And you put your phone number in the site, and you can chat to people on the site. And it works over Wi-Fi and data, right? And you chat to people on it. Kind of like email, I guess, kind of like a instant messaging application, right? But it also has SMS fallback, so that you can still use this. Application even when there's no Wi-Fi or data, so it'd be good for like emergencies or whatever. So it has SMS fallback, but it doesn't reveal the phone number. They just have like their unique handle and ID, and then the servers, send it to them yourself. What do you guys think about that? That was an idea that I had, and you can upload like 3 pictures a month. Maybe like, I guess you can upload stories or whatever. So like a chat app with SMS fallback, and it's just an easy way you get everyone to use it. You can import your contacts from Instagram or Snapchat or whatever. And so it's basically like the reverse of Snapchat. Apparently on Snapchat you can search for friends by their phone number. This you'd be searching for phone numbers by their friends, except you won't get their phone number, you'll get their handles. So I think that would be a really good idea. Oh, almost forgot. I got the Samsung SSD. Where is it? Oh, well, it's not here right now, but it's the Samsung T7 SSD, and apparently it works on Windows. I only tested it on my Samsung phone. It's USB-C, and it does not work with the app that it tells you to download in the back, the Samsung Portable SSD application. So this app here is broken. It's not even allowed in the Play Store. Oh, it's not even working on my newest version of Android now. So if you guys want to be able to use this SSD, which I like a lot, 2 terabytes of storage, fingerprint, it only supports 16-digit password, which is kind of sad. because obviously it's a 2 terabyte SSD. I mean, you can back up your phone, your computer, or anything on here. So I really don't have like strong encryption, but it does have fingerprint support. I want to see how good it is at resisting attacks from other fingers that I have on me, not, and then like from other people. And of course, if someone were to like, get a piece of tape, it almost go, because obviously if it can get hacked by like a 5-year-old in arts and crafts class, then it's not good for security. Anyway, so this new application, where is it? The application that you have to use and that works with my phone is called Samsung Magician. Okay, it has 2.7 stars on the Play Store, but it works with my Samsung portable SSD. So check that out, and you might see a review next week of the SSD. But for right now, I'm liking it a lot. The Samsung Magician gives me the internal specs about it. Tells me that there's like the storage capacity and the temperature in Celsius told me it was at 30 degrees Celsius, which is kind of hot, but it said it was good. So 30 Celsius, what's that? Yeah, 86 is good. Okay. 30 Celsius, not that bad. Let's say 86 degrees Fahrenheit for those of us in the United States of America using freedom units. All right. Now, speaking of countries that use non-freedom units, the metric system, let's go to Mr. Who's the Boss for his review of minimalist technology. It's a 50-minute video, and we're obviously not going to watch the entire thing. We don't want to get copyright struck, of course, but we're just going to go to the most important tech products here. And then, of course, we got to react to people getting really mad about the Apple commercial, including Samsung, who responded back to it. And, of course, as a Samsung fan, it is my job to defend them in any case. Oh. And then, of course, we got to talk about the Chat GPT announcement. So, guys, don't go away. Here we go. I bought the most minimalist tech ever, starting now. All right, here we go.
What if you could do SEO smarter and faster? With Wix, you can edit your meta tag.
I'm about to spend.
All right, so we don't really need to see. Oh, it's not 50 minutes. It's actually 48 minutes, 10 seconds. So he's just going through and buying here. I have a lot to say about this phone. All right, here we go. He bought his record player. I actually like this thing a lot. At least the physics behind it.
Ever to film this in. Very exciting. Come, let me show you. So let's go roughly from least expensive to most expensive.
He does deviate from that a little bit. So, I guess I don't really need to see a frying plate. It's bad. Like this is a tech channel. Okay, it's a stupid choice. All right, let's talk about this thing here.
Device. That's pretty cool engineering.
So it is a gaming console that costs about $95. And it has its own game, so it's not an emulation thing or anything like that. It has its own games. 2 of them drop per week or something like that for 12 weeks, which is obviously a way to get you to keep using the device. Because if they came 24, if they came with 24 games preloaded, right? They're black and white e-ink games. You'd be done with the thing, and of course they probably would run out of money. I don't, because you probably wouldn't want to download any more games, which costs.
I first saw this thing. I thought this was how you charge up the device.
That could tell.
Actually very.
Oh wait, I don't know if it's ink, but it's black and white display. Sorry.
Glad that's not the case. That would be a nightmare. This is actually one of your controls to be able to play games with. I will say it is a very pretty piece of tech. Surprisingly so. The buttons feel really satisfying. The screen is only black and white. It gets noticeably more readable as I tilt it up towards the light. But
that's interesting. I don't know why they would go with the black and white aesthetic. Of course, this is minimalist, which the entire minimalist thing is like less for more money, which is extremely annoying. Like I've said this multiple times.
Anyway, the most important question on my mind is it fun? Okay, so the UI is definitely much more responsive than you expect it to be based on how...
I mean, that's good, but it's kind of like the what's that thing called? The rabbit R1, the little scroll wheel. I mean, yeah, sure, it might be fun, but like, do you want to have to scroll through your game catalog using a Jack-in-the-Box controller?
How the thing looks. It does feel like it's running at a full 60 frames per second. Yeah, it's got really smooth animations, but really retro graphics. It's got this weird...
Which is interesting because I know what retro games look like. Someone else, they were in color. As Jillian Marshall said, as Connie Kendall, what was life like before you were in color? No, that's not how it works. There was color in the 80s.
Past meets future vibe to it. I don't know how I feel about this crank, to be honest. Like, I totally respect the need to be different, but it's just making my hands ache. And I can't imagine this.
He says it's a Scottishly. Like, Invention Odyssey just put out this episode about Eric Liddell, the runner, and he says it exactly the way he says it. Maybe he should try it as a voice actor.
Being the way that I want to play games on like a long airplane flight, for example. Let's try casual birder. Oh, this is really weird. It turns your device into a camera, and then you use the crank to focus that camera. So I'm unfocused, and then I'm focused. One thing this unique control scheme means is that you're definitely not playing games you've ever played before. This isn't like...
I mean, that's true, but are they good games? I don't know. Like, I'm not a gamer, but
like a retro emulation device. But I don't think it's for me. So there's only 2 games on here right now, but the way this works, which is actually quite cool to be fair, is they stagger them. So they give you 2 games.
Yes, it is. You receive 2 games for 24 weeks. That's 24 free games.
Every week for the first 12 weeks of owning it, and that's all included with the price. I guess they stagger it to let you appreciate each game before giving you the...
No, it's because if they release a device with only 24 games at initial launch, they'd lose money. Like, that's like selling a phone with only 2 apps. Oh, wait a second. Those stupid Gab phones do that. But even Gab has more apps than that. When I'm comparing you to Gab, that's a bad thing. Okay? Those Gab phones, yeah, no. You guys already know from October 7th, the October 7th episode, my views on those parental control applications. Gab phone's basically like a parental control application built into the phone. Of course, the newer ones are more secure, but they'll be hacked soon. And the old ones are already hackable and piece of junk. Apparently, they use the Samsung Knox Manager to prevent APKs from getting installed. So, yeah. Fun times.
The next one. But it's just, playing on something like this really makes me realize that me personally, I actually don't want minimalism in my games. I want more buttons. I want more power.
Well, yes, it's the point of games. Like, if I wanted minimalism in games, I go throw a paper airplane, like play tic-tac-toe. Video games are the opposite of minimalism. Like, video games have progressed upward in terms of graphics processing power, right? And I guess people have become so bored now that taking features away is now a feature. Now, I'm not talking about taking stuff away like headphone jack, home button, to replace it with something else. Well, except for the headphone jack. Like taking away the home button, replace it with the bigger screen. Taking away the headphone jack, allegedly added a bigger battery, etc., etc. But taking away RAM or a color screen, like even this Nokia 3310 3G from 2017, that is a minimalist phone, had a color screen and a camera, or has a color screen and a camera. Taking away features for the sake of minimalism and then charging people extra money because no one wants to buy your stuff, which means you have to, add more money to it, add a higher price to it so that you at least turn a profit, especially since, like, I don't even know if they make black and white screens because most sane people want color screens. Or when they make them, but of course, there's not going to be as much a demand.
Or failing that, just multiplayer. And I think for more people...
I do actually like to see how multiplayer works on that. Like, what, one person turns the crank and one person pushes the button?
Something like the Miu Mini Plus has much more appeal. So this is something.
Of course, that appeal is probably illegal because apparently it has like thousands of games in its catalog and retro emulation capabilities. But emulation, you can't download the ROMs online without breaking copyright law or privacy laws unless you make the ROMs yourself from the game that you legally bought. Anyway, here's our next product, the light phone, which piece of junk.
You're going to be the handsomest wedding guest.
Oh, that look amazing.
User was saying is that doing it this way would cause the essential.
Here we go.
Phone is a big commitment.
So here we have the $300 light phone. That's what I said, $300 for this. $300. And here, okay. I mean, this is basically almost a scam. Okay, this is a step up in between the no phone, which is basically a piece of plastic or an empty bag that you can pay $17 for, and a smartwatch. Okay, first of all, let's look at the screen here. It is black and white. Okay, it technically runs Android because these people, of course, couldn't afford to make their own trash OS, so they decided to take a good OS and make it trash.
What can this do? It can text. Okay. Ooh.
I respect that they didn't use T9 typing, but of course they make you have to text in landscape mode. But this phone is so small that it's almost as wide as it is long, and the bezels are as big as the screen. Now they're doing a good job to use it, but there's something much easier. Don't buy it. You cannot use what you don't own. And spending $300 for you to not use something is such a terrible business model. I mean, it's working for them, so congratulations. But it's a terrible business model in the end. Like, any upgrade that they make to the phones will make their core audience disappear. And second of all, people probably are going to upgrade these phones because they're going to forget about them. And no one's going to have this sense of brand loyalty to this company because it's a piece of junk. On purpose. It's not a piece of junk because it's a $50 Android phone from 2017 off of Amazon, which ironically could do more than this phone. It's a piece of junk because they designed it to be a piece of junk. It's a piece of designer junk. And it's $200 of designer junk. And for $200, you can get something like the B30 Pro 5G from new, which has infinitely more cameras than this phone. Four times bigger screen, etc., and more times processing power. And you can say, well, I don't want to use my phone as much. Okay, fine. Either download one of those minimalist apps, which I despise-ish, but don't despise as much as a $200 phone, because those minimalist apps, which cost money, because they don't take data, or don't want to show ads or whatever, just for like, say $1, let's say $1.99 a month, right? That is $2 a month, $24 a year. So you can use the app for 12 and a half years, and you would have paid the price of a light phone. Congratulations.
You have to type sideways. I guess they've decided that that's the only way you can comfortably type on a screen like this. And it's not too bad. It's a little bit less responsive than you're probably used to, and the autocorrect kind of sucks. It can act as a Wi-Fi hotspot.
Which is good. Basically, it's replicating the features and functionality that was on a cell phone wish list from 2007, because people would take their phones and hotspot them together to a laptop. But I've seen feature phones that have more features than this. Example, the T-Mobile Hip Top from 2005, the Nokia 3310 from 2017, and the N95 from 2006. I guess it's a smartphone. Oh yes, my great grandmother's KaiOS phone has more features than this phone. And it's a flip phone.
It's got Bluetooth, it's got a headphone jack on the top, so it's got your music covered. It does say it has directions. What does that even look like on a phone like
Which it's using Google Maps in an e-ink display, no color.
God, this is so clunky. You have to keep rotating it every single time. It's pretty slow. By the way it's acting, you'd think I just asked it to solve physics, not ask for walking directions. Oh, but it does give you some semblance of Google Maps, I assume. It is.
I mean, look at that lag. That is awful. And if you're trying to drive or something, I mean, turn right. it's probably not going to even tune right until you're like 50 meters past it.
Not a good way to use it, though. Crikey. Because this is an e-ink screen, so it doesn't have smooth animations. It has to re-render every single thing on screen every time.
I mean, I guess the battery life is good. But of course, let's say you try to dial a number. You swipe up, unlock, open the phone app, type in your 10 numbers, 713, da 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 da. Boom, the call goes through.
It changes. But this will be fun. Let's see what the call quality's like. Oh, yeah. Here's another problem. I was just about to call my mum, but she's in India right now. So I would have normally WhatsApp called her, but there is no WhatsApp here.
Now, technically, you could get any Android application on here that you want because it's running Android. You can just drag the APK files over, and we know it can connect to the internet because it has maps. It has.
You don't need previous experience or a degree. The Google Data Analytics Certificate will teach you to.
And it has the hotspotting capabilities, which is why Windows phones, like say ARC and those stupid like parental control enabled phones, like not even just app, it's like the phones, basically the brand itself, like Gap phone, Bark phone, etc. This phone does not have internet, and then they turn around and say this phone features 24/7 GPS tracking. Excuse me for asking, but how on earth are you going to get the GPS location of your kid's phone from a website without the phone being able to access the internet? I doubt that you have your own little communication network that you all set up just for this, because obviously they're losing money on these phones. Well, not losing money, but they're not making that much money because they are trash. They buy trash phones and then they make them even trashier. Like the Galaxy A13. I mean, it's a decent phone, but then they put the trash software on it that doesn't let you do anything, which is the entire selling point of the phone, and then they upsell it to parents for $300 instead of the trash $119 that you can get off of eBay for. So yeah, good times.
Oh, hi, Domino's.
I wonder how many normal people have spoken to like him. Oops.
We're big fans. Could we get some pepperoni
Big fans of Domino's.
pizza? Okay, it's
The
functional.
speakerphone quality sounded kind of quiet to me, though. It could just be my audio is down.
For calls. It does have a speakerphone. It's not
I'm glad that it has a speakerphone. You know, for $200, I've expected to also have a drone in the box for all the things it can't do.
particularly loud. Now we got some pizzas on the way. I'm slightly torn with devices like this because I see the appeal. You know, a phone that
All right, fine. The appeal, whatever. But anyway, so here you go. Here's the Light Phone 2, which maybe someone's like just been sitting around waiting for this. So it has 4G connectivity. It has the same terrible design. Like the bezels are genuinely bigger than the screen. I don't even see a list of features here. Okay. Here we go. List of features. Calls, messages, and group texting, which I'm so glad that it takes group texting. Again, they stole the feature list from 2007, and the phone from 2007 wins. And I'm not talking about the iPhone. I'm talking about a flip phone. Okay, if your phone loses to an LG Chocolate from 2007, which is like the first capacitive touchscreen phone, you shouldn't be selling it. All right, so there's a customizable toolbox menu for the phone where you can add and remove additional features, including an alarm. Yes. An alarm is not even pre-installed, people. An alarm. We can't have people running around with alarms. That's just be terrible for society. Timer, a calculator, a simple music player, podcast tool, a notes tool, which taking notes on that thing must be terrible. A calendar and directions, which they could do so many more. I mean, come on, a voice recorder would be nice. There's no camera, so Spotify maybe. I'm not even sure if they could support it, especially if they're trying to play stuff in the background. It's basically going back to the Microsoft DOS days of 1980, where you can only run one app in the background, one app at a time. A calendar, which if it's a web-based calendar, do you even want to look at that thing? Features it will never have. It will never have social media. $200 and you can't even have social media, internet browsing, email, news, or ads. Well, okay. There are no infinite feeds or tools are intentional. Only English language. Which, yeah, because the people who are on third world countries don't even want this phone.
That weighs nothing, it could disappear within your pockets. Plus, it does seem to be getting quite a few software updates from what I can see.
Ah, yes, software updates. You see, when you start your phone with nothing, you can easily roll out software updates when you're just stealing a features list from 2007. Like, software updates now, like smartphones, they're a big deal because they bring change to stuff. But software updates, for that, I mean, adding a calculator would be a press conference, newsworthy event. They'll send out a press release. Could you imagine if Samsung, like, well, the only company that could actually compare would be Apple. We added a calculator to a $3,000 iPad. So here's a press release. They probably have an entire WWDC event about it.
It's just that
but only Apple could do that. Could you imagine if Samsung or LG or BOU or any new came out and like, hey guys, we have the calculator app. We're so proud. People would be looking at you like you're crazy.
Most people, I don't think it does quite enough to replace your smartphone. Like, you can't browse the internet. And
which it costs $200 for you to not browse the internet. Like, I mean, if you don't want to browse the internet, get a flip phone from KaiOS at Walmart for $30.
the music.
You don't need to spend $300 for a soap brick. All right, here we go. There's some tea. A purifying table from LG that's quiet. Oh, here we go. Here's a Samsung speaker frame, which was not good.
We're the wireless company with nothing to hide. Seriously, hidden fees? We don't have them.
Affecting.
Where's the record player? Record player. Oh, we gotta talk about that TV, of course. I'll just do the transcript. So you go into here. Wow, trending 48. Of course, remember to like and subscribe to my channel as well. And the transcript is loading, so I guess you can watch this. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
It's also a little disappointing that this is literally just paper. You know, when I first saw it on the website, I thought, oh, maybe it's a screen that will allow you to put anything on it, or at the very least, like a backlight so that it brightens up your image. It means that really there is no tech here apart from the speaker.
All right, let's find... So $3,700. That's what I said, $3,700. So, put this in perspective. That is a spec'd out iPad M4 Pro with the keyboard, the pencil, and then an iPad Air. To put that in perspective, I'm pretty sure you can get a used car for that. And then to put that in perspective again, that is only 12.3 light phones, which is I'm saying something about society. All right, and it's a record player. Here we go.
$100 is how much we spent on the black.
Which is handmade, but I don't care if it's made by the president. It does not need to be $3,700.
And I know the rational part of my brain keeps telling me records make no sense in today's age. I'm already paying Spotify and Tidal for my music digitally.
And you may be saying, "Hey guys, look, see, records give me a nice physical, warm, rich, blah 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 blah, whatever." I don't care. What I do care about is you can get a record player from the Marshall's checkout line for $200, at least around Christmas time. And you know what those have? Built-in Bluetooth.
Player connects to the same speakers that my phone already connects to. And there must be software by now that can make my phone recreate the sound signature of records. And yet
it'd be cheaper to make your own software for that than it would be to literally buy this thing. Which, I mean, to be fair, does look nice. It's a nice piece. I'm pretty sure you can find something that looks like that on Wish.com for $50.
Yet, just like with the tea and the coffee, there is something just so alluring about the manual process of slipping out the vinyl, of gently sort of placing it on top, and then clasping this magnet in place. And then do you want to know how to turn it on?
I guess that's good. Is it worth $3,700? No.
You just spin, and you will actually see, oh my goodness me, look at the arm. It slowly comes out. This is one of the smoothest operating pieces of technology I think I've...
I expect it to be smooth and nice and sleek, and I also expect that thing to be able to spin the record fast enough that it gets up and flies. I want it to double as the Ring home security drone for $3,700.
ever interacted with. You can see it edging towards the first track. There you go. Oh, so this right here is the volume dial. That feels so satisfying. And I love the way it displays itself using these tiny little LEDs. Wait, but also, this record player very clearly understands the tracks within the vinyl I've just placed on it. And it's allowing me to navigate to the exact points in those tracks that I want.
Useful feature, because most record players don't do this. So now your record player became a gigantic CD player. For $2,700, you could have done better.
Putting my vinyl player at home to shame. And the way they've done this
Again, I hope it does that too. It's $3,700. That costs more than my TV. And most people's TVs.
interface is so subtle but clever because there's no screen here. So all of your information is coming from tiny little LEDs that are lit up to different levels of brightness. And you can
yes. For $2,700, you get the feature of having no screen, which it's fine. But advertising that as a feature, $2,700 is kind of wrong.
actually see how the arm is moving across the vinyl as I navigate. And that's a really good thing because...
What do you think this is? A techno build DIY Lego project?
You have to control it using this device. There's no remotes. And I feel like this is kind of a bit of a theme with these minimal products. I came into this video expecting them all to basically be the things that you're used to, but easier. But it's kind of the opposite. They're often
it's the things you're used to, but they take away the things you're used to. And sometimes they do it really well. They do them really well. The record player did a good job. Of course, the record player has been around for like 150 years. It'd be kind of sad if you messed that up now.
Actually more manual and less seamless. But the perk that I'm...
It's like complimenting Apple on making a phone that doesn't, drop calls. Like, you've been doing this for 17 years.
Noticing is that manualness encourages you to be mindful when...
It's like complimenting Apple for making a keyboard that, it's easy to type on, which I guess... butterfly keyboard.
Using them to really be aware of
apparently
how
bad.
things work.
I think I typed on it like a few times before because my cousin's at a Mac. Of course, and of course I was like 10 back then.
And to interact with them in a way that allows you to appreciate them more. Like, I feel like if I listen to music on this, I'm going to listen to that music much more intentionally than if I was just on my Spotify Discover Weekly. There is no...
Well, of course, Spotify Discover Weekly is free, I think. This costs $2,700 plus. It has the added subscription cost of you needing to actually buy the records, which are not cheap. Okay, let's find a record here. Does Taylor Swift make records? I don't know. Why Taylor Swift record? According to the Taylor Swift official store, you can get a vinyl album featuring 30 songs for $25 to $50 for 4 to 5 day delivery. So let's just say $30 for 30 songs, so $1 a song. It's actually pretty good, I guess, for subscription. Until you look at the alternatives, where you can have 1,000 songs for $0 with ads on Spotify.
No doubt in my mind that this is a highly over-engineered product. Like, it even goes to the extent of understanding if a vinyl you've placed on there is warped and then adjusting how it plays that vinyl back accordingly. But it's done like...
Useful feature. Of course, the people have the money to spend that on probably won't have warped vinyl.
That so that you, the user, you only have to focus on the best parts of the vinyl experience.
That's good. I wish it was a tiny bit lower price. Maybe 2,000. I don't know. I mean,
Oh yeah. I so see it. I so see being.
The sound sounds good, but you know, I can find that song on YouTube. You got to do a comparison between, say, Spotify's version and that. I mean, you can talk about the experience and stuff like that, but your experience does not translate into money.
Being curled up next to a fire with a hot tea and a vinyl. It's an extremely expensive way, almost unnecessarily expensive way to get that experience. But for someone who appreciates,
It's kind of like that, what's it called, Down Kid Lane episode, where they returned the record player back to the Morrisons. Pretty sure it wasn't this much, though.
it, this is a product that has no compromise. We said to ourselves before filming this video that anything that scores above a 9 is coming with us to our new house. 9.1.
Okay, now let's get to the television. Oh, the television is before this. Oh, not that television. It's a different LG television. Here we go. LG OLED easel TV, $7,400, which you can even have that or 2 record players.
Was about 2 times the already massive size I was expecting it to be. I'm pretty sure this is the biggest thing I've ever unboxed. And yes, I spent 10 minutes getting through the entire packaging, only to realize that I unboxed it all upside down. So
that's kind of funny.
Yay me. Although one cool thing
There we go. Here's the TV.
Kind of like an easel, but I'm just trying to decide right now if that actually makes any sense. I will give it the.
So here's the TV. I will say the color reproduction accuracy looks really good. These bezels with like the titanium and the black kind of reminds me of the S24 Ultra. And actually, how the S22 Ultra looks much cooler because of the curved edges. It has a stand here, which is weird because our TV is on a stand, of course, but it has it's like a cabinet, so you can put stuff in there. You can put like DVDs or a console or a DVD player, stuff, peripherals in there, and then you can play them to the TV. This is kind of weird, of course, especially if you want to say, let's say you want to add a PS5 or a cable box or literally anything. There's nothing to the back of there, and of course you move this back. It's kind of weird.
The TV actually does look a lot prettier than I was expecting it to, and the screen quality.
I'd expect it for $7,000. You know, most TVs are like $1,000, and you can buy a TV at Walmart for $200.
The color saturation is all beautiful. It's just, why do I?
This reminds me of Samsung wallpaper again.
Want a TV that persistently looks like it's one light breeze away from serious collateral damage. I mean, technically it won't be, because LG actually recommends that even when it's in this slanted position, it's actually drilled into the wall.
Which is stupid, because if it's drilled into a wall, then of course, how are you going to add your cable boxes and stuff to it? And if you say, hey, it's not that kind of TV, then what are you doing with it? If you can't add a cable box to it, it means no cable TV. You're stuck with streaming. And you can't add it's Roku or Fire Stick, and no gaming.
But then at that point, why does it need to be an easel? From everything we've seen so far, there is no functional.
So I think it does
benefit to having this as opposed to just wall mounting your TV. But there is one thing that could change that. So when you turn the TV off,
and also most regular TVs, boom, there it is right there. So when you wall mount those, you can have the cables traveling up. If you wanted to wall mount this and add anything to it, you'd have to mount the entire thing up there, which means you have basically 2 TVs stacked on top of each other, except this cover would be in the way.
It's going to enter what they call line view mode. So this is taking advantage.
Real nice building.
You technically have a scalable amount of screen on show. This is your TV's always on display, effectively.
This would be a nice trick to show people, like you come in, you have like the clock showing, you play some music or play the wallpaper or something. Maybe you have like the free TV that they're giving out. What's it called? The Tele TV. Yeah. Where they have that ticker thing at the bottom. Let me see here. And you can show like sports scores or ads or whatever. Hopefully you can see this on the screen. Of course, it's at the top. And then you click the button and you have the like Texans game on or whatever.
What I'm curious about is how much you can customize it. Oh, that's funky. And then you can also display those in front of some
It looks like it's running Android, in my opinion.
interesting looking architectural wallpapers. Is this just a grand waste of electricity? Then it also gives you the option for music. Oh, that's quite a neat way to actually display music in your
How
house.
many ways you can listen to music? Look at that. The Samsung frames. They have this speaker that looks like a book in this video. You have this TV, and of course you have the almost $4,000 record player. Oh, I almost forgot the light phone, which can play music, of course, but no streaming. So you have to download the MP3s one by one. And of course, most MP3 websites are either illegal or down by now, because the last time someone downloaded MP3 and sideloaded it to a device was 2009 on their iPod Touch.
There's cool ideas here. There's no doubt about that. But I just can't shake the feeling that this...
Like even the MP3 player I reviewed, the Pescu M5 or M4 or whatever, it featured full Android, and it was just basically like a Android tablet, no cellular connectivity, with a really good DAC in there, and could play Spotify and YouTube Music and Tidal and stuff like that, high quality. And of course, you could sideload your own MP3s on there. Of course, I had to do the non-copyrighted MP3s, which meant I ended up playing the national anthem. Good song, but I doubt most kids around here are going to be listening to the national anthem on repeat. Believe me, I have the polling data to back that up.
This is basically a slightly worse version of rollable TVs that completely disappear when you're done with them. I see it as a product that's trying to be a clear part of the smart home. You know, this kind of piece of furniture that's a little bit alive. It's a pretty tough product to rate because...
Yeah, but you got the stupid feet right there.
It is a spectacle, and if you like it, you can't get that anywhere else. But
no, you can't get your own moving TV cover anywhere else.
As far as the core value for money proposition, it's basically like a $2,000 TV with a funky transforming mechanism that makes it $7.5 grand. So on that scale, it's a 6 out of 10. Now, as for the treadmill, I'm quite...
All right. Oh, yeah. Let's go to the LG Stand By Me, which is a television in a case.
You're going to be the handsomest wedding guest.
I look amazing. I feel like I can do anything. Move over her.
Protect it. Because this is a 27-inch touchscreen LCD monitor, and I guess the rest is battery? Whoa, okay. Oh my god.
But let's look what we have here. So we got our regular television applications. This are Apple TV, Disney Plus, YouTube, what is this, Netflix. And then you could play some like simple mobile games here because it's running Android. And it's running Android, but with LG's WebOS overlaid on top of it.
Whoa.
Or
So
UI over it.
it goes to any height and then also pivots based on the angle you want to look at it from.
This would be really good for, like, say, presentations, just plugging your phone, maybe getting some work done.
This says Dolby Vision Atmos, which means I assume this part is speakers. That's a very interesting prospect, the idea of carrying your entire cinema in one go. And I realize it seems incredibly excessive, but I can also think of...
And it's battery powered, which I guess would be good for schools. It's only $9.99, which some TVs are like $2,000, $1,000. So $9.99 for a battery powered TV. Of course, can run over on its own power. 27 inches. You can do presentations. So even if, say, there's a power issue, or you want to move the TV to somewhere where everyone can see, that's easier than having to, pick up the smart board and stuff. And it's touchscreen. And you can do something like collaborative work on there. It can be like a cheap version of those tables.
Quite a few moments where I've wished that something like this existed. Like the Nintendo Switch, for example. So many times I've taken this thing to places that don't have an external screen to plug into. And so you end up in a situation where you pull out the kickstand and it's 4 people crouched around a 7-inch display.
So I don't know who would be playing Nintendo Switch. Like outside, maybe? But like if you're going over to someone's house to have like a gaming party or something, I mean, a TV is like one of the prerequisites, I think. Not that I've ever been to a gaming party, but I'm pretty sure a TV would be a prerequisite to having a gaming party.
Okay, so what better way to break the screen in than with a quick smash with my arch rival?
I have only seen this game played like 3 times. I don't even understand what it is. These are like random characters from the Mario universe fight each other or something.
Smasher. Joseph. Oh no. No. This is not representative. One thing I'll say for absolute certainty, there is a massive amount of input lag here. Yeah.
Interesting, though. I don't think this would be like meant for gaming, because if it was meant for this kind of gaming, not like the mobile gaming like you see on here, I don't think it would be meant for that, because like the Switch is the only portable console. No one's gonna be dragging their PS5 outside, because you still need your power source for that, right? You know what's gonna be dragging dragging that around and then gaming. Is it more of a consuming content, or I guess presentations from your phone?
Yeah. This is definitely not designed for gaming. The screen looks quite impressive from a distance, but up close, you can absolutely tell that it's a 1080p panel.
Yeah, this is like the one spot where you need a 4K, 60 frames per second, et cetera, display, because he's literally 15 inches away from it.
I'd say it's a pretty respectable audio experience. While it is cool that you're getting this all-in-one experience.
And after we're done with this, we're going to talk about the Apple iPhone and Sony and ChatGPT.
You're paying $1,200 for it, and this is not a
$1,200. Oh, UK, because it's like $999 in the US, I think.
$1,200 monitor. Are you still going, Grish? Finish him. No! Oh, dear. Now, one thing, though, that might make this a little bit more interesting is Home.
Hey, look at this. It even comes with its own remote.
This is LG's Home menu, and it's not a full-blown Android device. It doesn't have access to everything like your phone does, but it's...
Well, I mean, Google Docs on that. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like the Samsung M8, M7, which is very famous a while ago. Think about it, you can put up Google Docs if you could. You have a really, maybe.
Pretty good as far as TVs go. So it's got entertainment, things like Channel 4, ITV, and then also game, which is a combination of 10% of games that you'd actually probably quite enjoy and 90% that you wouldn't want to touch with a barge pole. We can play a full game of chess. Obviously, we wouldn't be craning this way because we'd be playing it when it's flat. It's not...
I think that's good. It would be better than having like bring a whole chess shed outside. You might use the knight or the rook away from the king, which then you can't even play.
Not a super slick, polished experience. It's actually the opposite of the play date in a lot of ways, but it's functional. If you really want to play a game of chess on a 27-inch screen, sitting on a beach, you can do that. But that's actually part of the problem, because the website is very strange. It says that it has up to 3 hours of battery life, and then in the same breath that you can watch movies while on the beach. With 3 hours of battery life as an absolute upper limit.
Well, yeah, but it also has its own power connectivity. And like the Mario movie was an hour and 30 minutes, so
it's a bit of a stretch to say that you can watch multiple movies. There's Netflix, there's...
Depends on how long the movie is.
Prime Video. There's also, though, TikTok TV. And I think...
TikTok.
Yes. Wow.
TikTok infects. Comes for our TVs. It comes for our phones.
That's a sight. When have you ever seen anyone do this before? Like, I'm not going to lie. I do find this really cool. But at the same time, I feel like if that is what you're going to be using this for, you have made a terrible purchase.
Well, I mean, if you're just using TikTok, you have made a terrible decision. I think that's where we're going to end this video. Not this video. This video, not the podcast episode for now. But now let's talk about our face ranking mobile application. Which is server based. So, yeah. ToolWiz Photos, which is a really good photo editor. I like it a lot. It does have ads in it, but you can skip them. You can import up to 10 photos here to edit, and so you got your normal photo tools here, but you also have interesting stuff like reshaping, lens correction, and you can add multiple layers, portrait effects. So it's a interesting thing here. Oh, it also has face swapping technology, which I have to test out. So tell me if you guys want to see a review of this, but you can add multiple features: AI cartoon, text, Facetune, slideshow. But then it has this duplicates finder. I haven't even seen this face rater thing here. And I tried to test it on Disney princesses because obviously we're not going to test it on real people. And of course, the Disney princesses and princes, you can use the back and front cameras. And it kind of had a problem on my screen. I guess it was too bright, so like all the white Disney princesses are kind of like blown out, and you couldn't really rank them or rank them like lower than what some of the things on the website said. I tested it against a website that ranked them according to beauty, because obviously we're not going to give an opinion on that. And of course, everyone is, I guess, made by God and beautiful in their own way, etc., etc. Of course, I know some of you guys saying, well, beauty isn't subjective, blah, blah, blah. I read Postmodern Times. I know. I listened to the Vincent Odyssey episodes. I know. Okay. But I'm just talking about in this own context. So you guys typing in the comments can all come down. So it has a face radar, and you can use the camera or you can select the photo in the gallery, and it will scan the face and will give you a ranking and an age ranking, which is totally wrong. And it can determine if they're a boy or a girl. So that is good. So check it out. Toolwiz Photos. Now, there's another photo app I like on here. It's called Pixel. I think we've talked about this before. It can scan faces on your phone, all on device, and match them for you. So I really like that feature. Of course, Samsung Gallery has that. But Samsung Gallery has that, but it's nice to see it's coming to other devices as well. It's even more accurate than Samsung Gallery. But now let's talk about ChatGPT 4.0. All right, 6 days ago from ChatGPT. So GPT, the O stands for Omni, has much more natural human-computer interaction, especially on the mobile side of things, because you can use the camera and audio input and things about it. So it's very multimodal. And here's some videos of its capabilities.
Today, we're going to try something new.
And Talis of Tech actually pointed out that these devices, iPhone here, iPhone there, which that is awful. Wait a second. I have the ChatGPT app. How does it get?
You talk to another AI. This AI is going to be able to see the world. It's going to have a camera. I'll be holding it, and so you can direct it. You can direct me to ask questions about whatever you want them to do, but really try to figure out what does it see.
And this could actually be really interesting for accessibility, as it can tell you what you see around the world with voice instead of having to type and stuff.
And ask questions appropriately. How does that sound?
Well. Just when I thought things couldn't get any more interesting. Talking to another AI that can see the world? This sounds like a plot twist in the AI universe. All right, let's do this.
I'm ready to meet the... Pause for 1 moment.
And did you notice how it interrupts without having to say like a wake word like GPT?
You got it.
So now that first AI can't hear anything. Hello, AI. Today, you're going to have...
Wait a second. I think I have that. Let me check. I got my phone out. Okay. Gotta go in and get the app. It's gonna be interesting. Let's do a live demonstration on air. Okay, loading. Of course, the free version people only get limited minutes on it. This just looks like it. Oh, Dory, you came back. Okay. Oh, I don't have it yet. Or at least I don't have that version. Oh, I need ChatGPT Plus to access ChatGPT 4.0. Unfortunate. Of course, we don't have the $19.99 a month for that.
Access to see the world.
But as you can see here, you can see the world and everything. And every device that they showed was an iPhone, or Apple device. So that is interesting that I can do that. Also, people have been using it to turn data into charts from spreadsheets. What else? They used it to do something else. I forgot. Oh, summarize stuff, make their own fonts. So it feels like it's a very useful application. And they also added a ChatGPT desktop application.
So let's root for the home. Et après les chansons
Oh no! What was that?
Sorry, guys. I got carried away.
Yeah, you did.
Guilty.
But as you can see here, it even talks back to you. So it looks like a very fun application. And I spend lots of time with it. Thor, what do you think about this? Okay, so GPT-4o text and image capabilities are in my phone on the free tier, and voice mode is coming to ChatGPT Plus in the coming weeks. So I don't have that right now. Yeah, okay. I tried to learn Blender this week. Unfortunately, my computer crashed after I started making my donut, so that is sad. All right, any other topics that you want to see discussed on the podcast? I think there's an AR app on here that I downloaded. So, Architect. Ooh, I wonder if I can see this Apple in AR. And why is everything in Russian? Okay, yes, it's downloading an Apple. Let's see what this app Architect looks like. All right, it's pointing. Let me turn the flash on. Oh, it is a transparent apple. Let me tap it. Oh, no, it's not transparent anymore. It is a full apple. Actually, let's make the screen big. We got a full apple here, guys, with good shadows, and it's 1:1, and you can even take pictures. So there's an apple. I wonder if I can, let me make my own stuff. Oh, and you can 3D view stuff. So that is interesting. Oh, there's also a scanning thing in here. It lets you scan QR codes, not scan for 3D. All right, any other topics you want to discuss? Let's see, we talked about GPT-4o. I think it's really interesting. It's going to change education. Some people were saying Notebook LM, really, really good AI tool. I follow this account. Let me just keep scrolling. Come on. It's an AI account over on Instagram. Oh, there's Uncover AI. So it's telling us some of the stuff that the thing was doing. Ooh, and they give us interesting AI tools. So here's what people are using the GPT-4o for. And they're kind of spammy, like they make you comment stuff to get DM links. So it's turning spreadsheets into charts, which honestly is kind of stupid because like spreadsheets have been able to do that since the 80s. Super fast responses, I like that. Your own personal tutor right in your pocket. It can do like math and stuff. I really like that because the way math is taught on the internet is really confusing. I guess it might be some of the font and typographic stuff. But then it's kind of sad that like this person is obviously using a MacBook here, and they're just using GPT-4o and like some other financial website. And then text to font, that's really good. Document understanding, that's interesting here. This is kind of boring. That's just basically scanning. And then transcription, you've been able to do that before, but I do like that GPT is able to do it. Transcription and OCR, that would be really good when I was secretary. when the other secretary took notes, and then I transcribed them into the computer database, not database, online stuff for school. Okay, let's see what other videos we have here. Oh, Sony released their new phone. Unfortunately, it's not coming to the United States of America, and some people are speculating that it has left, leaving the market for good. That is unfortunate. Here is a new Sony Xperia 1 Mark 6. That's the new phone. So if you want to type this into a Google search engine, there'll be Xperia 1 and then VI, which is the new flagship phone. All right. So according to Tech Radar, it will be sporting the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip. So it's the flagship chip that is in most Android flagship smartphones these days. So it's not going to be power slouts. And according to Adam Matlock over at Tech Odyssey, it should work on American fans. So there we go. Here are the specs. This is what the phone looks like. They changed the aspect ratio and the screen. So it's not 4K anymore. It still features a headphone jack, and the front-facing camera is not a dot, so it's still full screen 21:9. So no more 4K. It has a 12 megapixel telephoto camera that zooms in between focal lengths of 85 to 70 nanometers. 170 nanometers, which means it's a continuous zoom in between 3.5 to 7.1, which means let's say I wanted to zoom in on using this phone here, Galaxy S22 Plus. It has a 3x zoom camera. So if I zoom in at 3 times, it's going to be the best zoom that you get on the phone. If I zoom in at, say, 5 times, it's going to be using the optical and digital cropping it. So it's going to take pictures with the 3 times and then just kind of like crop into it to make it a 5. Right here, it's going to be completely optical, which means it's better quality because it's not using software interpolation and basically cropping, which lowers the quality. Right. For instance, I'm going to take a picture here at 3 times zoom. All right, I'm taking a picture with my camera. Okay, and now I'm going to zoom in at 5. All right, so the pictures are still going to look good. So this is what the 3 times image looks like. Oh, hopefully you can see. So this is 3 times. Oh, no. Sorry. This is 3 times, and this is 5 times, right? Now, according to the data that's collected, the EXIF data on the pictures that collected, the 5 times zoom picture is 12 megapixels. Interesting. This was still 12 megapixels. It takes up more. Interesting. On most phones, this one, I guess it's different. It would actually be a lower megapixel count because it's cropped into the image. All right, now here we are back to the screen. But anyway, the zoom here would be a lot better. The telephoto camera also takes macro, which is interesting because most of the time when they do macro on phones, like on the S24 Ultra, it's actually from the ultra wide. And a 5,000-minute battery, that's good. And it says 36 hours continuous video playback. Samsung claims 30 for their phone. So if that's true, better battery on the Sony. Unfortunately, it's not coming to the United States of America. And it is coming with good specs, 12 gigs RAM, 56 gigabytes storage, just like the Ultra, and a micro SD card slot, and 3 years of Android updates, which is good. It's better than its normal thing, though. I wonder if the EU, the EU was so annoying, is going to start mandating phones get more updates, which would be sad. Ooh, you ordered a Flipper Zero? Really? I might order one of those things. So what are you going to do with it? Because I like it because it's a convergence hacking device. It's like a smartphone of hacking. That should be fun. Yes. What kind of fun? I wanted to spam someone's phone with the iOS stick. Nice. How far away can you clone? Because I've seen those RFID cloners, and I wanted to know if you could like long range clone. That'd be so fun, but terrible for access control people. All right, now let's get to our commercial of the week. And it's loading. All right, let's see. Yes, you can do that to phones with Bluetooth devices and get it. Yeah, I know. I meant like RFID tag spoofing. Let's say there's like, those hotel key ID spoofing devices, and you want it to long range spoof, so you're like 100 feet away. You point the gun at it, and it cloned it. All right, YouTube is still loading, so we're waiting. Oh, okay. So here is the quote-unquote creepy iPad commercial, and we all know what he's going to say about this and how it's the downfall of Western civilization, so it's kind of funny. Here we go. Let's go. I haven't even watched this video, but I know what he's going to say. He's going to start yapping for 30 minutes about how this is terrible and anti-Christian, etc., etc. Come on. Ooh. 15 meters? No, not for Bluetooth. It's RFID. 15 meters for RFID would be insane. And that's just like those license plate scanners. That's different. And it causes more.
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store on a single integrated platform. Add product.
I mean, let's just listen to this description, which he went on and on about the quote unquote the how stores prove the incarnate world and something. I'm like, guy, what? Here's the description. Apple CEO Tim Cook posted an advertisement for the iPad, and it's creepy. Apple thought that it was really cool that we don't need stuff anymore. We live in an incarnate world, so we do all need that stuff. What? No one. Okay, let me tell you, no one needs 25 feet for RFID. Yes, you can make a Christian AI. There are plenty of Christian AIs. They think that it's like demons or the Antichrist or it's influencers or something like that, which is crazy. Wait. Oh yes. 20. Here we go. Which I'm a big fan of him, but I mean he's just wrong. Here we go.
There is a real creepy iPad commercial.
Yes, real creepy. It shows crushed. Well, technically nothing's neutral if you. There's a video back from like a year ago on the channel, and it's giving AI that's saying like obviously blatantly anti-Christian responses about the age of the earth, etc., etc. And like how AI won't tell you what the only way to salvation is. But so I will say that AI does skew. Well, some AI programs does skew towards non-Christian values. So it can't technically be neutral, but this isn't even about AI. This is about an Apple iPad commercial that's getting crushed.
That has just been pushed by Apple. I don't know really what.
I mean, is it a good commercial? No, probably not. But is it terrible and anti-Christian? And no. Well, I guess it would be subjective to the developer's point of view, but to God's point of view, which is the only point of view that matters, it's not subjective. Because, which is why the AI can be seen as anti-God, because like no one cares what all the other false methods for salvation will be in the end.
The marketing people at Apple were thinking here. This has
the marketing people at Apple are usually pretty good.
Also gone viral.
Except for that Mother Earth commercial. That was stupid.
Even those who don't examine the implicit ideology of this commercial.
Yes, the implicit ideology. Who on earth cares about the implicit ideology? Okay, now, okay, I agree with you on the Mother Earth commercial, right? That's stupid. Okay, that was a dumb commercial, and Apple was rightly criticized. But the implicit ideology of taking a hydraulic press and smacking some toys. Like, it's not even important stuff like a Bible. No, it is. Now if they went around and like did that, then yeah, I could get the outrage. But they just took some random 80s game arcade machine, and they like some random book, some emoji icon thing. Well, yeah, but then that's why the AI would have bias.
All the way down to the very last detail. Recognize something is real creepy going on here.
No one recognizes that. Only you and like 3 other people who have nothing. Like, there are real problems in the world that you can go solve and talk about. And here you are talking about an iPad commercial. Like, So I don't want to get copyright struck. You can go see this commercial online. It'll take stuff like record players and say I have a piano and some paint, and it's gonna all crush it together, and it produces this very powerful M4 powered iPad. Congratulations. Let's get to the commentary and how this is. I mean, look, the commercial was a minute, actually more like a minute long. This reaction is
the new iPad Pro. When Apple launched, they had their 1984 style advertisement. You know, Apple's going to say.
And once again, these people stand on lanes and talk about what they need to talk about, Christianity and stuff like that. Apple did not launch with the 1984 style ad. They launched and they launched in 1976. But shit, we'll give you that. Same people. Once again, when we talk about the Apple Vision Pro, someone thought that augmented reality meant that the Apple Vision Pro was going to make your reality better. That's not what augmented reality means. And they also thought that Apple Vision Pro was going to spy on you when you go to the bathroom, which was genuinely stupid. Like, who's going to run around with the VR headset on when they go to the bathroom?
Think different. We're gonna throw a wrench at Big Brother, who's trying to make us all conform and just bring us all down into this uniform kind of bland world.
Well, first of all, the iPad M4, $2,000 to $3,000. I guarantee you, not everyone's going to be using the iPad because they can't afford it. They're talking about the 1984 Apple commercial right now. No one can afford this $2,000 to $3,000 iPad. Okay, so I guarantee you that it's not going to be conformed and bland. And besides, you are literally selling cigars. That is objectively worse for society than this Apple ad.
Well, now Apple it's been around long enough. It's taking the other side of that commercial. It's now on the Big Brother side. What did Apple think when they were making?
Look, is it a bad commercial? Probably, yeah. Crushing up people's stuff and saying, "Hey, yeah," but no, it's not a terrible incarnate thing that needs to be analyzed in a sin.
Apple thought that it's really, really cool that we don't need stuff anymore.
So it is kind of cool, in my opinion. Like, you can do all of this. You don't have to drag all that around. You can just put it in an iPad. Of course, Samsung. I use the Samsung tablet, but you don't need any of the stuff that was in the commercial. You don't need a piano. You don't need a record player. You don't need a game console. Okay, and you really don't need stuff. Okay, I've read the Bible. There's no verse in there about you need stuff. Sorry, so
you don't need a trumpet. You don't need a TV. You don't need books.
You don't need a trumpet. You don't need a TV. I mean, sure, you might say you need books, but
you don't need a drawing desk. You don't need sculpture.
You honestly don't.
You don't need toys. You don't need anything.
Well, I mean, half of your company here has literally attacked. Seriously, oh my gosh, half your company here has literally attacked toys. So this might be a good thing. Well, see, they might be like, hey, well, see, the Apple thing, they're replacing toys with tablets. But I guarantee you, not many kids can be running around with this brand new iPad M4 because it's $2,000.
You can replace all the stuff in your life with a little slate tablet.
Which he's making this sound bad. Well, he's trying to make it sound bad. But it actually sounds pretty interesting.
On which you can rent and stream a digital simulacrum of everything you enjoy.
Is that even a word? Let's check that. I think this guy's just simulacrum. Simulacrum, an image or representation of something or someone else. Yeah, I have never ever heard the word simulacrum used, and he's talking about a tablet. And second of all, you can rent and stream a digital thing of every physical thing. Okay. Have you ever heard of a DVD ripper? Well, you don't. That's a web streaming content, so it's kind of like, because. Anyway, I don't know about you, but has he ever heard of a DVD ripper? So you use this thing, you take a DVD, it takes the DVD, and it puts the MP4 onto your iPad. Now, the legality of that is iffy. I think you can use them now. Second of all, you can still download movies, and you don't have to stream them, okay? And if we're talking about replacing TV with a tablet's just a small TV, and most TV is streamed anyway. Ever heard of live TV or cable TV? I mean, I want to ask you how many DVD players. Well, yeah, these people don't have tech degrees, which is why they should stop talking about tech and do their jobs.
I was talking to Jeremy about this ad the other day, and Jeremy said, in the first cut of that, they had a Bible in there. Because
why would they? No, they would not. They did not. It is tiring to have to defend Apple, okay? I don't like Apple. I'm not a fan of them. But, I mean, this is stupid.
Because, you can get your Bible on your iPad, right? Well, actually, maybe we shouldn't smush the Bible.
Well, yeah, but then they'd have to, advertise the Bible app, and they wouldn't want to do that because...
You have to assume. Because they had everything else.
That is a big stretch, like a huge stretch. I can name 10 things that they did not have in that commercial, like a car, exercise equipment, robots, a phone, because they still want you to buy an iPhone, earbuds, this again. Greetings and salutations, You have any more questions to ask me? Wallpaper.
So why don't people like that?
I mean, he's making these hand gestures like he's being so profound. You're talking about an iPad commercial. You paid millions of dollars to talk about an iPad commercial.
I think it's kind of cool. When I travel now.
Interesting. He actually thinks it's cool. Shocking take. Of course, it's still 7 minutes left of this take from the yap and moan and whine and groan about how terrible Apple is for society.
I don't even take a laptop. I take an iPad because when you have an iPad, they let you keep writing during takeoff and landing on an airplane, so it saves me time when I'm running late on my speeches.
Interesting. How long do your takeoffs take? But whatever.
But also because I can fit a lot on there, and I can keep my books on there, and I can stream baseball on there, and I can watch my...
You don't even watch sports. I watch your show enough to know you don't watch sports.
My political content, and I can write, and I can do everything on.
Yes, right? Yes, we know what an iPad is.
But I don't want to just have
Told you.
An iPad. I want to have my musical instruments, and I want to have my books, and I want to have...
That's good. Let me tell you, Apple's not in the book company, book business. Apple's not in the music business, and Apple's not in the drawing business. It's saying that you can do this. Now, this commercial would be bad if Apple went around and went into people's houses and took their instruments and their books and their drawing equipment and then all burned it in the bonfire and just replaced it with an iPad. That'd be illegal and wrong. What they're saying is that you can replace it. I'm not saying that you have to. No one's forcing you to buy a $2,000 iPad. In fact, Apple themselves probably doesn't even want you to buy this iPad. Like, Apple themselves is pricing this thing higher than a MacBook. Okay, so you have to actually want this iPad. Okay, they're not No one's forcing you to go out and buy the iPad.
Have my desk, and I want to have my colors, and I want to have my toys, and I want to have.
Interesting that you want to have toys, because I seem to remember Black Cooper and Matt also being anti-toy for people over the age of 12 or 20 or something like that. So interesting take there. I'd like to see a debate, because that would be a much more productive use of time about than slamming Apple over the commercial. Not saying that a debate over toys would also be useful. Like, really, like, why was that even worth podcast time? Yapping about how 40-year-old people shouldn't use Star Wars toys. Like, there are other things that you can do.
Why don't people like this? Because we live in an incarnate world.
He's the first person to ever use the word incarnate to describe an Apple commercial or any technical commercial.
That's why, because we're physical and we live.
I'm sorry, but tablets are also physical. They're not holograms. Second of all, the TV was also digital and physical. In fact, you could argue that iPad is more physical than gaming on a TV or watching TV, because you're holding it in your hand and controlling and using the gyroscopes and sensors and everything to game.
Live in time and space, and we form connect.
Do you know what also lives in time and space? The iPad. I don't know about this phone here. See? It's in the same time and space that I am. I can interface with it by touching on the screen. I can take a picture of the physical when it becomes digital. Hey.
Connections to things. And we don't want to be materialists. We don't want to lose sight of eternity. We don't want to forget about.
Look, I'm Christian. You're Christian. It's an iPad ad. Put it to rest.
The metaphysical things that physical things signify.
What are you talking about?
But neither do we want to just pretend that our bodies don't matter and we're just, ideas floating in space. We're not.
What are you talking about?
We are not. That's something we're learning out of the trans ideology. That's something.
What? Yeah. All right.
That our elites keep pushing on us.
And he's just going to call in this yap session for. Okay. There we go. That's the take. Any opinions on that? Which we still have. How does he keep talking about an iPad ad for that long? Yeah, so that's the take. I obviously disagree with that. Now, was ad the best choice? No. Was it awful and a conspiracy from random people on the internet? No. Not at all. Let's see what any comments we have here. Yeah, and it's kind of sad because I like him a lot, but I mean he's wrong right here. Yeah. Okay. Any other things that we want to talk about on the podcast or not? Samsung did respond to it by saying physical things are funny. But you see, it's actually Samsung's job to respond to Apple's ads because Samsung is a tech company and this is capitalism, and they can capitalize off of people's anger. Michael is a news person. He's an online news reporter. And that has nothing to do in his niche or in his job. Well, I mean, he had to bring it back to his niche somehow. I mean, he's not a tech commentator. In fact, here we have right here an LG commercial that's similar to the Apple commercial. So let's put it up right here. And of course, he wasn't online when this happened, but LG didn't get as much hate, probably because no one bought the thing. But here we go. Here's LG, and there's the Apple. LG is squeezing stuff together. It's from 2008, and it's not for a tablet because those weren't really things for consumers back then. Cameras, it's squeezing them all together into one device, a camera phone with an 8-megapixel camera, and then of course the iPad comes together for the Venora KC910 phone. Yeah, go, because I'm a big fan of his, of course, big fan of Christian, of course, but that's honestly not, he has other stuff to do. All right, that's all for now. I guess we'll stay on for 2 hours. What other devices can we talk about? Oh yeah, U.com has added GPT-4 Turbo and the new Gemini to the thing. Oh, I gotta we gotta talk about oh, here we go. Oh yes, we will get a report on the Flipper Zero next week. Thank you very much. All right. Where were we? Oh, yes. So even that $3,000 iPad, one thing that we said that we didn't see in the commercial was a phone, because Apple, in all their wisdom, did not include calling capabilities on that iPad, which is very sad, just since it cost $3,000. But let's talk about Windows XP to finish off this podcast. Here we go. Windows XP. How to Geek. Of course, you guys should not be using Windows XP anymore. It's very insecure. Okay, anyone can hack into it with just like a click of a button if it's connected to the internet. So this is why Windows XP is so popular, according to How to Geek. It had low system requirements and stability and software support, good software support, according to How to Geek. Oh, here you go. It also had lots of staying power because its last security update was released 10 years ago in 2014, which is over 13 years, over 12 years, 13 years after the original release date. And it was long because most people did not like the upgrade to Windows Vista, so it was more like XP to Windows 7. And the UI was apparently good. So command prompt, task manager, control panel were introduced and perfected into XP. And according to this article, it felt familiar. Now, I've used XP before. It looks interesting. It does have some features that even modern distributions do not have. Like I think I got some type of sharing thing, or like you can hack and stuff. I think you can send an IP message to someone else. Send a. Oh, speaking of IP addresses, I almost forgot about our Odyssey blog, the odysseyboy.blogspot.com. I figured out how Maury was able to track Seymour Kraken with an IP address so fast. So in this episode, the team, Maury was able to trace this kid from IP address to a specific location. I was confused on how he did that because he set up a honeypot for him. And I think that since Seymour Kraken didn't know anything about hacking and his hacker friend helped set him up, to prevent him from having a hard time from hacking into systems, he gave him a static IP address. If you have a static IP address, you can figure out where it's registered, and wherever it's registered, boom, you get the location. So I think that's how Maury did it. So here we go. Speaking of hacking and NSA and stuff, does Odyssey actually know what the NSA does? Because, here we go. So the NSA is America's famed digital spy agency. In real life, they go around and like intercept communications and tap communications of other countries using agents there. In Adventure Odyssey, they apparently do the job of the CIA, the FBI, and the DIA potentially. So, which is the Defense Intelligence Agency. They do military intelligence stuff. Okay, so FBI, that's domestic, and CIA, that's overseas. So Jason Whittaker plays a pivotal role in the Black Saga as a counterterrorism agent investigating Red Scorpion in Geneva, Switzerland. Okay, so the NSA does not have that many foreign operatives, though they do have people tapping the communications networks of other countries. So he could have been in there, and then he just kind of like just went rogue and helped save the people. So I guess that is why the agency sends Jason, because Jason knows Tasha and knows all the tricks and stuff like that. So then, in another episode, Jason produces a device that can hack into a computer via an IR port. I looked it up; those don't exist, but NSA probably has stuff that can do that. So that is feasible and makes sense. And then in the books, NSA is able to steal applesauce from Wit's computer remotely. That is NSA level technology right there. Okay. So in the Search for Wit episodes, the NSA is investigating smugglers in the Middle East. Now these were taped in the 90s, so technically the NSA wasn't even given a real agency in the eyes of the public. Yeah, the NSA does not search for smugglers in the Middle East. That's not even what they do. Like that would technically be like the CIA's job, but like the CIA would not care about random Middle Eastern smugglers in Israel. So Whit was going to the Middle East anyway on a mission trip. So maybe they just sent him there because he had agency experience and said, hey, well, might as well do this for us anyway. And then Jason also investigates cybercrime, which makes sense. But then he gets fake killed by someone, which he gets investigated. So he goes into Green Ring, which he takes on the job at the Secret Service investigating counterfeit money. He goes undercover on American soil and English soil, which takes on the job of the FBI and the CIA. So maybe, because of his cybercrime investigations, like Blackwood had a lot of cybercrime and novel medicine for electronic communication, which is a special teletype machine that communicates at the level of 1980s and 1940s technology. And then there's these new AI programs coming out, which in the applesauce program, and which DoD coding jobs for other software he makes probably makes NSA like honestly a big hub for the NSA. So they just do lots of operations out of there, and then they just make Jason go around and do stuff for them because he can. And he knows Mr. Whittaker because they're related. And then Jason is killed, which means all the guys think he's dead. So then he might be able to transfer to the CIA and FBI because of his agency experience in NSA. And then later in the saga, he probably goes to the DoD and joins the DIA to get the codes for the submarine missiles for the 28 album saga. But of course, to maintain the security, he still works for the NSA, which is why Jillian has rivals who found out he's not dead, because obviously Tasha knows he's still alive from the Warrior Saga. However, Jillian is traveling the globe, which doesn't make sense given her placement in Odyssey. And one last thing on Odyssey, which is what will the next saga in Odyssey be? So Wit really hasn't had like an evil person try to counter him since Novacom, since Mori is like good-ish now, I guess. So we haven't had like an evil saga thing happen since like 2002. Oh, well, I guess Green Ring, but they didn't really interact with Mr. Whittaker. He just had to like take them down. And then I guess Ties That Bind, they weren't really evil people trying to like take down Witch Hand. They were just like different ideologies, which is evil, but not like not like the Black or the Novacom sagas. So what do you think the next saga will be? Of course, we still have the Buck and Jewel saga finishing up, but there hasn't been really a counter to Wit since 2002, 2010, depending 11, depending on when you talk about that. Of course, back then they had the Apple baby cell phone, so I wonder what kind of high tech stuff Apple is, because the Apple Odyssey will produce. But for a counter to Mr. Whittaker, but I guess You guys can leave your thoughts and questions into the comments. That's all for now. We got 15 seconds left on the podcast stream to make this exactly a 2-hour-long episode. So if you have any questions, spit them in. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. God bless, and talk to you later.